Hello there. There's a story coming out of the European Union that Boris Johnson has agreed to some type of alignment process with Brussels. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost, and I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily, and a big thanks to my Patreon and PayPal supporters. Can it be true that Boris has decided to compromise on at least one of his red lines in the final sprint to the finishing line? Well, the story has been circulating, and unlike the snappy answer to claims he'd caved in over fishing, Number 10 is strangely silent on this one. And as a result, goes the narrative, the talks will now extend into this week and maybe beyond. According to RTE's Tony Connelly, an EU source told him that the UK side has now accepted that the EU could take retaliatory action against the UK if it diverged from EU standards. With the difference being that the EU wouldn't be able to take immediate autonomous lightning action. There would have to be a dialogue first. And in a tweet he said, "It's the operationalisation of that principle that is now under discussion, according to source. The EU see this is progress, as for a long time the UK refused to accept that if they diverged the EU had a right to do something, says the source. That principle has now been accepted, but how it is to be implemented is the nub of the discussion." Now that should make all Brexiteers sit up and take notice. It sounds like both sides have moved, but it still ties the UK down to EU rules in one form or another. How can Boris sell this one? We've taken back control of our laws, borders, money and fish, except where the EU still controls our laws, border, money and fish. Not exactly Brexit, is it? And on the governance of any deal, it seems that there is movement towards cross-sectional retaliatory measures being allowed by either side. But how much of this is just chatter or wishful thinking from EU negotiators, I just don't know. Tony Connelly also said that the UK is proposing to land far more fish caught in its exclusive economic zone into UK ports, together with tighter regulations on fishing vessel crews. And that's upset the Spanish and Netherlands. Then the conversation turned to how can the EU ratify any treaty so late in the day, with the EU Parliament having been promised by the EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen that they will not be bypassed. But it turns out that the EU 27 Council can provisionally ratify it to get it over the line and operational before the 1st of January. Now all this sort of talk gets me thinking that the EU seems extremely eager to do a deal. But Michel Barnier has now today come out with a new proposal to tie UK access to the single market to EU access to UK fishing grounds, and it sounds to me like it would function to prevent the UK ever really having control over its EEZ. Because the idea appears to be that as the UK gradually ramped up its own fishing activity in its own waters and excluded EU vessels over time, then the EU would apply tariffs on the UK to compensate. This, says the Times, was not very pleasing to Boris, who has balked at the idea. And may he long stay balked at that idea. Anyway, all the talk of pushing to ratify the deal on the EU side that I just mentioned doesn't seem to be mirrored on the UK side. According to The Independent, doubt has been raised over whether MPs will get a vote on the outcome of Brexit trade talks after Downing Street refused to confirm that the result would be put before the House of Commons. And it quotes the PM's spokesman saying that the leader of the House of Commons, Jacob Rees-Mogg, would be laying out the position in due course. He said there is time to do whatever is necessary and that without a deal the UK would move on to WTO rules as a matter of course, and that would not require any vote by MPs. and he refused to be pressed into answering questions on whether another Act of Parliament would be needed or if the royal prerogative could be used. It would be down to the Leader of the House to set out what would happen, he said. Now, as I understand it, the law is set to cater for a no deal. That is, giving the UK full control over its own future and assets. But for there to be some sort of international treaty that interferes with that, surely an Act of Parliament would be needed. Unless the relevant language already exists within the statutes already passed that gives the government the ability to ratify any treaty with the EU, whatever it contains. And should that be the case, I'm sure it would already have been flagged up. But I would also think that the current UK law would cover the possible unlikely situation where the EU decided to agree to our terms and sign up to our deal. So is Boris saying, I don't need to change any law because it's either our deal or no deal, something already catered for within our legal structure? Or something along those lines. Oh, and there's a new Act of Parliament that received royal assent today. That's the Private International Law Act 2020, which allows the UK to implement its own private international law agreements, with the government website saying, these agreements help to resolve a range of legal disputes, from returning children abducted by a parent, settling international business disagreements, to helping prevent a spouse living abroad dodging child maintenance obligations. As well as, it will provide a blueprint for maintaining Britain's status as a leading global jurisdiction for businesses to operate in, by giving them the legal certainty they need. It will also ensure that consumers and families have access to the most effective ways of resolving disputes in an ever more globalised world. And, without the ability to implement these agreements in domestic law, there could be parallel court cases in different countries leading to conflicting decisions where UK individuals, businesses and families would bear the brunt of legal costs. Yet another move towards the UK becoming an independent sovereign nation once more. But Michel Barnier has warned that this Brexit trade process could grind on right up to the 11 p.m. on the 31st of December UK time deadline, and that EU 27 member states must prepare for a short period of trading with the UK on WTO terms, just in case the deal is not ratified on time. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it by following the link in the descriptions box below and support me on Patreon or PayPal. So what do you think? Do you think that Boris dare cave in and crumble? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.